Black CO denied first-class meal, then he makes one call and fires entire flight crew after landing. The sleek Gulfstar Airlines Boeing 787 was cruising at 35,000 feet from New York to San Francisco when a moment of disrespect triggered a chain of events no one on board would forget. Seated in 1A was Marcus Reynolds, a highly respected tech CEO known not just for building a billion-dollar cybersecurity company from the ground up, but also for his quiet, composed demeanor. Marcus was a self-made millionaire, a graduate of Howard University, and one of the few black CEOs on the Fortune 500 list. To most people he was low-key. But to those in his industry he was a legend. As the flight attendants began serving the premium meals in first class, Marcus politely asked for the grilled salmon entree listed on the in-flight menu. The flight attendant, a blonde woman in her mid-30s with a frosty tone, gave him a cold glance. "I'm sorry, sir," she said curtly. "We've run out of that option." Surprised but unfazed, Marcus replied, "I was one of the first to board. How could you be out already?" The attendant didn't explain. Instead, she moved along without another word. Moments later, Marcus noticed a passenger seated behind him, who had boarded after him, being served the exact salmon he'd requested. What made it worse was hearing the attendant joking and laughing with the other passenger, who looked over at Marcus with a smirk before digging in. It wasn't just about the meal. It was the way she dismissed him, the lack of courtesy, the subtle but cutting tone. Marcus had faced discrimination before. He recognized it immediately, and he was tired of pretending it didn't exist. He didn't cause a scene. He didn't raise his voice or ask to speak with a supervisor. Instead, he quietly pulled out his phone, typed a few lines, and sent a message through a private corporate channel. Unknown to the flight crew, Gulfstar Airlines had just completed a major partnership with Reynolds Company to overhaul their cybersecurity systems, a contract worth $75 million. What's more, Marcus personally knew the airline CEO, who had personally courted him to sign the deal just months earlier. By the time the wheels touched down in San Francisco, Marcus had spoken to the airline's executive board. His message had been brief but clear: "I was just publicly disrespected in your first-class cabin. The service was discriminatory. I have proof. I expect this crew to be held accountable, or the deal is off." As the passengers began to disembark, the pilot received a call from corporate. Within minutes, the entire crew was escorted off the plane by airline supervisors. Passengers watched, puzzled, as the flight attendants, especially the one who had denied Marcus, were pulled aside on the jet bridge. Word of the incident spread quickly. Within hours, social media was abuzz. Some applauded Marcus for using his power to demand accountability. Others debated whether the punishment was too severe. But those close to the airline knew, this wasn't just about a meal. It was about a pattern, one the airline had been warned about before. Later that evening, Gulfstar Airlines released a public statement. "We are committed to providing an inclusive and respectful experience for all our passengers. We have launched a full investigation into the reported incident on Flight GS-287 and have placed the crew on administrative leave pending results. We take these matters seriously and will not tolerate discrimination of any kind." Marcus, for his part, never spoke publicly about the incident. But in a private interview weeks later, he offered a simple reflection. Respect isn't something you earn by wearing a suit or sitting in first class. Everyone deserves it, period. But if you think position or race gives you a free pass to mistreat someone, especially someone who looks like me, you might find yourself on the other side of that power one day. He didn't cancel the airline deal. But he made sure diversity and inclusion training became part of Gulfstar's corporate mandate moving forward. And as for the crew? The flight attendant at the center of it all was terminated, while the others faced retraining and review. What started as a quiet slight at 35,000 feet became a thunderclap of change on the ground.